Well, the Great Bear Rainforest is an area up the coast of British Columbia with these huge intact rainforest valleys. And for many years there had been a lot of conflict with people really wanting to protect these valleys. They're some of the best rainforest habitat left in the world. And logging companies that were trying to get in there and just clear cut everything and get it out as fast as they could. People referred to it as the war in the woods. There were blockades everywhere. The logging companies were suing the activists like myself and other organizations. So it was very, very conflictual. And we were working around the world to let the world know what's at stake here in the Canadian rainforests. And through all of this work, we built enough leverage that finally the forest companies actually had to sit down with us at the negotiating table. So after a lot of years of fighting it out in the public arena, there we were. We found ourselves, a number of youngish women representing the environmental interests, and a number of mostly middle-aged men representing the logging companies. And we would go to those meetings in good faith, but we went probably for about 2 years and ended up just fighting and fighting and fighting and getting absolutely nowhere. And then we were all invited to come to a retreat at this center called Hollyhock, which we previously didn't know very much about. And we were exposed to a whole kind of other set of types of wisdom and knowledge that we previously didn't know about. So for instance, we learned about Metta meditation, loving kindness meditation. We started to think about how we actually make change, and can we make change just through the stick? What about the carrot? What about the human connection? And so we thought, a lot of these guys who work for the logging industry, as we found out, many of them went into the industry because they love the land, like we love the land. So we started to think, how could we try and connect with them as human beings on more of a human-to-human heart level, really? So we developed what we called the love strategy. And, because we've been hitting them for as hard as we could, for as long as we could, because that was what we knew how to do. And it got us a little part of the way, but it wasn't going to get us to a solution. So we would sit in our strategy meetings, literally. We would think of the forest industry executives that we had to negotiate with, who'd never said a kind word to us in their lives. And we would close our eyes and do a metta meditation for them each as individuals to think about them. Then we would go to the meetings with them, and in the elevator ride up to the 42nd floor in the fancy towers, we would be doing a little metta meditation. We'd be saying, send them love, hold them with love in our hearts. Then we would go into the negotiating tables, and these are fancy boardrooms, and there's a lot at stake. There's many, many millions, tens of millions of dollars at stake for them, and there's these rainforest valleys which are priceless at stake for us. And instead of coming at it from a conflict point of view, we really came at it from a heart point of view and tried to, in all reality, with everything that we had in us, hold these men in our hearts and find the best in them and the best in ourselves. To reach out through a kind of holding them in a field of love to say, let's have this conversation together. We're both in this together. And to stop thinking of them as enemies, but more think of them as people that we have a temporary conflict with. And both of us have to figure out how to get past it. We have to create a road that we can walk down together. It's the only solution here. And so, conversations started to change. Things became much more productive. We developed very positive personal relationships, even friendships with some of the people on the industry side of the table. A couple of them I now call personal friends. Many of them became advocates for environmental issues inside the logging companies they worked for. Some of them left to go and work for nonprofits. And we learned a lot ourselves. And of course, best of all, as a result of the love strategy, virtually all of those intact valleys on the coast of British Columbia are saved. So every one of these huge valleys, they have grizzly bears, they have black bears, they have white Kermode bears. They have some of the healthiest salmon runs in the world. And they'll be there for, I hope, a very, very long time, until the next ice age. They were formed in the last ice age, and they're going to last till the next one. And that was in good part due to the love strategy.